God, I'm so embarrassed right now.
What? You know you're all going to be doing the same thing.
Oh, God. All right, let's do this. Two months since the launch of the Nintendo Switch, and we finally got our hands on one. This is something that I've personally been waiting for. Corey, we both are pretty excited.
I mean, it's good, but this is truly the first mobile or couch to mobile system out there. I know Chase was chomping at the bit, so we got it.
Yeah, we did, and we got it. And to be fair, the Sony Vita was actually one of the first, and it really didn't have the same functionality, so you could basically pick up and go from your PS3.
But this expands upon what the Vita did, and like we said, this is what we've been waiting for, so...
Yep. Here we go.
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? All right, we'll see. So first off, let's just kick it off and talk about the form factor.
Ooh.
So this is, honest to God, one of the nicest devices I've had in a long time. Well worth the $300 in terms of how it feels at first feel. The build quality is just fantastic. It's got a nice weight to it. It actually, yeah, it's nice and thin, and it weighs at about 400 grams with the Joy-Cons attached, which you can detach, and I'll kind of show really quickly. You can basically detach these things. The screen by itself is about 250 grams. I'd put it up there with Apple as far as build quality goes. I mean, it's got a nice
it's
aluminum.
really nice. Yeah, it really doesn't feel cheap, doesn't feel plasticky or anything like that. It feels like you're actually holding a good system in your hands. So.
Like well worth it. So
and you know what? Expanding upon that as well too. So the user experience. Listen, it's no secret I'm not a Nintendo guy. Chase is the Nintendo guy. If I do play games, it's on the Xbox. He's PC and everything. But Nintendo has always been one of those systems where young, old, whatever the case may be, male, female, you can enjoy it because it's a good system. It's very simplistic. It's very user friendly, and that's what we found here. This thing's pretty sweet. First of all, there's no long load-up times. No. Thank you, dear sweet Lord. I'm getting sick of that.
Thanks to cartridges.
And that's because Nintendo has gone the way of the dodo and gone back to cartridges, which eliminates those long load times. But it also, just like with everything else, it's very simplistic interface and menus. Nintendo's always been known as the family-friendly or the kid-friendly system, and it truly shows. Listen, anybody from young or old can actually operate and navigate the menus. There's no like, what do I do here? It's pretty sweet.
So let me go back to the form factor really quick. I know we're getting excited and getting a little ahead of ourselves. So based on like that, like there's a lot of elements to this thing. Obviously, there's a screen and there's two Joy-Cons. They call it Joy-Cons, which are basically two controllers. That is a huge bonus because out the box you have two controllers, one for you, one for your friend, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend.
I need to say though,
they're teeny.
They're small.
So if we're talking, so that's we're not going to go too much into that, but they are teeny. And you do get used to them though. It is
a little bit of a learning curve, but it's a cool learning curve.
It's a pretty neat learning curve.
First time I saw somebody use them, they had their hands out here working both controllers. It was like it's virtual reality something. And the first time I picked them up, you're so used to always having that controller here. Now you're all over the place. I just did like a cheerleading.
It's kind of a nice like.
It's weird to have it.
Yeah, it's like if the equivalent would be like the Wii Wands, I guess, if you want to call them, like the way you can, they all have gyros built into them and stuff like that. So,
but there are things on there. We'll talk about this later. That you can extend them to make them a little bit bigger. You can use the actual handheld if you want.
Third party is coming out with a ton of different controllers, but it is actually
a cool thing to kind of get used to. I'll be honest with you.
And to add, if you do have issues with it, out the box, it actually comes with a Joy-Con controller, which I'll kind of demonstrate right now really quickly.
And you'll see what Chase is doing putting these on. It's very simple to put these in and
out. Basically snap them in. Oops, wrong way. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a bad thing to do. Snap. So I'm just going to snap one in.
Yeah.
So that more or less is how it works. It snaps. You snap both sides in, you undock them, and that's it. And you have yourself a nice, usable controller that Nintendo supplied in the box. So that's another great feature.
We could bore you with all the details we want here, but we want to talk about basically how is it? What does it play like? What's the structure of it? What are the games like? So the main complaint that we've always heard, the screen. Okay, you can see it's not that big. It's not. Here's the thing, though. It's meant to be either played up close with yourself or with one friend, or dock the dang thing and use your 60-inch TV. I see videos of people putting their, the system down on a table and then sitting back 20 stinking feet. Well, of course it's not going to work that way.
It's not.
Okay, you got to pick your battles. You got to find, if you're going to play one-on-one with someone, put it down on the table, look right at it. It's right there. But if you're sitting at home, I don't care if you want to be unique. Plug it in. Put it on the TV. That's the thing.
Well, in the case of my case, if I wanted to play it off screen, it was nice to be able to play it as a mobile unit.
Like me sitting on the toilet.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
But the screen itself is actually very clear, very crisp. You can adjust the color, the brightness, contrast, all that stuff. So,
well, to be fair, you can't.
In some
brightness.
Sorry, brightness.
Brightness.
I take it back.
Take it back. It's all right.
But a lot of these other systems don't have stuff like that. So you can check. But again, don't be sitting 50 feet away from the freaking screen. Dock it if you're going to be at home. If you're going to be mobile, put it up close.
Yeah, because 2-player split screen, it's usable. I mean, it's definitely something if you're in a pinch or you're hanging out with a friend and don't have the ability to have a screen, or somebody's using the screen. It's nice to have that in a pinch for co-op play or for a quick multiplayer pickup game.
Just like I said, pick your spots. Find out what you're using it for. And speaking of which,
games.
Yeah. Okay, this is the big one. This is what all these geek gamers, and I guess you call them fanboys, have been screaming about right out of the gate. Not many titles.
Yeah.
At least AAA titles.
Yeah, at least right out the gate. There was about
with
5, 6
Mario
titles.
Kart 8 just releasing and the new Zelda game. Those are only really big AAA titles. Lots of indie games and things like that. But the games themselves that are out are still a lot of fun. They're very easy to pick up and play. They're fun. And with the holiday season approaching, of course, there's going to be more games. Of course, the new Mario game is going to be coming out, and the sequel to last year's highly, highly rated game, Splatoon 2, which you are a huge fan of, is coming out. So, there's not that many games right now. There aren't. But on that note, too, we talked about the couch co-op and things like that. What's online like, Chase? What are the online capabilities?
Well, currently the online,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, the current online state is simply relegated to kind of the friend system. I don't know if people have heard it before. You basically have to get a friend code, which is so archaic, but it's okay in itself. You have to find your friend's code, and then you can add them to your list. Or if you've played them before locally, it'll show a list of who you've played before. Then you can add them as a friend. That's simply what it is right now. Now, as far as playing the games with multiplayer, the pick up and go aspect of it allows a lot of kind of wiggle room. Like Mario Kart 8's system actually works really well. I've been able to play a few tournaments, which I won't go into depth about the game, but they have a tournament mode now, which allows people to set up tournaments that you can join and have 20 friends, or I don't know, I think it's max of 8, but you can have
quite a jump.
Yeah, I think you have max of 8 racers, or 12 racers. But you can join those games and sit in on a tournament or watch a tournament or play in a tournament, which is kind of fun, and it's all point based. But anyway,
it's all fluid too.
It's very fluid. So
no real lag, no real issues so far.
Initially there was, but it's not bad. Now here's the kicker. Word is that Nintendo is going to be charging for their online. Well, that's the known factor.
We all know Xbox and PlayStation do the same thing.
Yes.
But here's the good news.
The good news. It's gonna probably fall in the range of $20 to $30 a year.
This is what we've heard.
This is not official yet, but this is kind of what people have been speculating. So hopefully it does, because right now the online it's
lacking.
It's lacking. It's okay, but it's lacking. But Nintendo's always been king of co-op, king of couch, king of...
They have built their systems around a certain genre, a certain niche group, so this is no different. But to add other aspects of gaming, especially online, is just going to make this thing go fly off the shelves even faster than it did. So that's basically our rundown, very brief, of the Nintendo Switch. But it all comes down to what everybody else's preference is. But we got to go with, of course, our pros
and our cons.
Chase, hit us off first.
All right. Well, so I'm going to start with the pros, obviously. If you haven't already heard, I'm in love with this. Corey's in love with the build quality. Man, this is just insane. And I already brought this up. It's just a very, very well built, aluminum body, plastic in some places, but the plastic feels nice. It feels good weight, you know, and I'll talk about...
It can take a beating.
It can take, yeah, I mean, I don't want to drop this thing. I don't want to risk it. Nope.
Definitely not, no.
But, you know, they have great carrying cases for that, you know, to keep it if you want to take it on the road. But
just consider it just a really extremely large, expensive phone, but with a lot more capability.
Yeah, it's a 6.5 inch phone.
Yeah,
you know, that's
exactly. And then again, we already talked about this. Second Pro is that Nintendo does not make bad first-party games.
They don't.
They really don't. So if you're looking for games on this, just one of Nintendo's IPs, such as Zelda or Mario, is going to last you a long time.
Yeah.
Replayability is through the roof. Plus, they're also really known for their indie games.
Yeah.
So great first-party games. There
are some great indie games that are currently on the
Can you get that?
The shop.
Exactly.
I forgot the shop.
Shop is a hard word to remember.
Yeah, the shop. Yeah.
But also it brings us to when you're playing these games, what's the third pro?
The third is the freedom of mobility.
Finally.
And this is something that, like, I've owned DSs, Nintendo DS. I never got a 3DS, which I felt it was kind of like, all right, why do I need 3D? Corey, I think you may have owned an original Game Boy.
I had an original Game Boy way back then.
I had an original Game Boy too.
Played the crap out of it.
So this is one of those things that, God, Nintendo, you know, you almost got it right with the Wii U, but you nailed it. You nailed the mobility factor with the Switch. This thing is amazing.
You get off of work, you drive home playing this thing, get to about 3 recs, come back in your house, plug it in your
living
TV.
Dangerously, you know, busted arm. Yeah, I've taken this thing, oddly enough, I played on my lunch breaks, you know, with I've got a couple coworkers that have played. It's fun. It's like
I'll play it on the toilet.
You know?
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys already saw the videos. No, but Jason's
that was
right.
simulated.
Jason's right. Finally. Thank you, Nintendo. You nailed it.
Yes.
But there, as always, there are cons.
There are cons.
But they're limited, and these are all cons that Nintendo can work through and make better, okay?
Absolutely.
First one, obviously, the games at launch.
Yeah.
Nothing really. We got the system, or Chase got the system, we were kind of like...
It's a Zelda Mario Kart system right now. And if you've already played Mario Kart 8, you know, from the Wii U days, which not a lot of people own because not a lot of people own Wii U's, it's you know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Now, indies... They've put out a lot of really good indies. There's one called something Explosion. I can't remember the name. I'm going to put it down in the bottle because I can't remember off the top of my head. That's basically like an R-type, shoot-'em-up type game. That's a lot of fun.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, is that if you're... This is built for, you know, couch co-op and everything, and there just weren't too many games to keep everyone. Zelda's a one-player game. Once Mario Kart comes out, or has already come out. It's already come out. Yeah, that adds to it, but... At launch, what we're talking about, weak game.
2 months ago, 2 months ago, it was like, why do I have a Switch? Well, it's a Zelda machine. Okay, all right, I get that. You know, that's 100+ hour game, so sure, fine.
But also with those games too, which leads us to the second con.
Yeah, it's some elements of awkward placement of sticks and
look how small it is.
Yeah, and the size. It's a real kind of, I don't want to say a learning curve to get used to the placement of sticks, especially if you have big hands. We have decently sized hands, you know. So I mean, 6'1+ tall, you know, 6'3" here. You know, when your hands are larger than these things, I mean, they're miniature, but they feel solid. I mean,
you feel powerful. Though.
Yeah. But it's one of those things you just have to get used to, and I'm gonna be honest, I got used to it within a few hours of playing.
I'm still getting used to it.
Stick placement is just kind of off, especially if you played Xbox for years.
I'm doing what I call the grandpa thing, where you get the control and you constantly there it is. But it's fun to get used to. But one of the other things too, and again, this is the big one we're talking about with Nintendo, can fix online.
Yes.
Online. I am a proponent. Make us pay for online. That way it's smoother, it's easier, it's more functionable. I have no qualms paying the $20-$30 if that rumor proves true. No problems paying for that. I already pay about $50 a year for the Xbox. Make it happen, Nintendo. But those are just a small fraction. Obviously, we're going to give you an update as the months go by. We're going to play this more once games come out. We'll give you a play-by-play as we go along. Find out if these things are fixed. But like Chase said, we were just ecstatic to get our hands on this, so good job, Chase. However, next video, we're going to be talking about something else really cool in the realm of gaming or entertainment. It is the human puke machine known as the VR, the Samsung VR. Okay, so we're going to actually we got our hands on one of these things. We're going to review it. We're going to throw up a lot of times, and then we're going to put it on video for you guys. So, but if you as always, if you like this video, you want to see more, click subscribe, like. or don't. We don't care. But as always, I'm Corey.
And I'm Chase.
We'll see you next time.